Hey yo, what it do, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Dago Diddy Vision. Podcasts are available also. Tap in, tune in, and subscribe, man, to help your boy try to build this channel, right? Can you dig it? So anyhow, as I was telling y'all before with my adventures, I'm really more on the podcasting side, but I do the gig econs, as it has been very helpful with paying for a lot of my podcast accessories. So for me today, man, the gig econ game's been kind of slow. In my area, shift has not been cracking like it used to be, so I'm a little bit short on that. But DoorDash, man, they really haven't been offering too many incentives. They had one at like 12:30 a.m. to 4 something a.m. I'm not gonna be able to run that. So what I've been doing is I've actually been working some more of my podcasting, and I ran into a couple of snags. So what you're looking at right here is a setup. My normal setup is just a Rødecaster Pro, and so this is really today about the Rødecaster Pro and the Zoom P4, and how they came into play with me trying to upload my episodes. So I'll try to throw some screenshots in later if I can get that savvy. But the gist of what happened was with the Rødecaster Pro, depending on how many people are familiar with it, the Rødecaster Pro is an all-in-one podcast system, perfect for podcasting. Never had a problem. So basically, when you get done with your podcast on this one here, you hit the transfer button, transfers the information over to whatever podcast server you're using. Currently, I'm using Anchor, but I think I'm gonna change up from Anchor once I hit my 1,000 mark, man, which we're almost there. Once I hit that 1,000, I might go over to Buzzsprout. If you have any input on Buzzsprout and Anchor as far as monetizing, which one works best, let me know. Drop it in the comments, and I'll check it out, because I'm still new to this, man. So everything I'm doing is hella green. So what you guys are getting is a cat that's hella green, self-taught, YouTube-taught. I'm going to try to put some of these cats' names in the comments, man, or in the description box, who have been instrumental in me setting up some of the stuff that I have going on here. Now, the setup that I did last night, the transferring of my podcast, that was my own crazy-ass concoction. I kind of came up with that on my own. Hey, yo, coffee time, man. You know how that go. Y'all get a real deal show over here. Shout out to my mama, man. C-World. Last couple about my mama before she passed away. Anyhow, she's rocking with me. So anyhow, what happened last night, really what happened over the last 2 damn days has been painful as hell. But hopefully, maybe this will help somebody else who's green that happens to have both systems. So, about the Zoom, that's the card box, man, but about the Zoom P4, this joint right here, you know what I mean, about this joint, so I could go mobile and take my podcasting on the road, because I took the whole Rødecaster Pro with me. The Rødecaster Pro is about $600. I took it with me out of town a couple of times, flying and all of that. I don't really like to carry big carry-on bags, but I had to carry the full case for the Rødecaster Pro, just so I could do a couple of shows out of town. So I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get mobile. Plus, I want to set up shop at different events and things like that, and get live podcasts with different people and so forth. There's a way you can run it with a power charging bar, but it's still a lot to carry. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get the Zoom P4 so I could take it with me and be mobile. Had no idea that it would come into play and kind of save the day for me with my podcasting with the Rødecaster. So what happens is, generally, you'll record your podcast, you'll click the button, send your podcast over to Anchor, whoever you're subscribed with, send it over. It compresses the file, loads it up in multi-tracks so that you can break down the tracks and do a little editing afterwards before completely uploading. This time around, for whatever reason, 2 episodes would not go over in that format. It would just go over as one huge ass wave. Totally disturbing. So even when I tried to take it over and break it down into my DAW system, it still wouldn't work right. It still had breaks like yeah, drove me freaking insane. So I tried multiple ways, right? And I'm digging through the crates, man. I'm going crazy, digging through here trying to figure out how to get everything to connect to get this over. So I even took the disc, because there's a mini disc in the back here. You can pop that out, plug it straight into your laptop, and upload and compress and so forth. No dice. That didn't work either. So I thought maybe the file was corrupt. So I recorded another one after that just to test it. Everything else was fine. Everything else went through good. I'm waiting to hear back from Rødecaster Pro to figure out exactly what the error was. But anyhow, I went through all these different hookups. Nothing was working, man. No dice. Drove me freaking insane. So my last thought was, maybe I can use the Zoom, feed the Rødecaster Pro's information, record the show through the Zoom here, then from the Zoom transfer to my laptop. So after a few tries, this is what I've come up with. Now, I don't know who else might run into this problem down the line. Hopefully Rødecaster gets back at me, lets me know what caused the situation in the first place, because I like to know if there's something else that's going on so that I can possibly correct it, because I don't want to have to use this as a constant workaround. But I think what I might do, just because it worked, is keep the Rødecaster Pro in the in my P4 when I do a podcast. I might keep them both connected so they already have something situated to work around in case this happens again. So anyhow, what I did was I took the Zoom P4, and down here below is a jack where you can add a phone, so you can plug in your cell phone, smartphone, whatever, plug it in and have somebody join the podcast that way. So normally this is for something coming in to get recorded onto the Zoom. So I took this cord here, ran it into the back. You see this here is actually a headphone jack with an adapter. So I went to the podcast, I hit play on the Rødecaster Pro, had that feed sent out through the headphone jack, turned up the headphone jack to where on the meter it read about mid, where I always want my readings to kind of be so it wasn't too high. I set the peaks, so the peak limit, so it wouldn't just go crazy with it. But I was able to send that signal into the P4, recorded on the P4, but I had to let the whole podcast play through here. There's no speedier way to do it. Recorded completely on the P4. On the P4, there's a side door over here. Bear with me, y'all. I'm still getting used to working with this one. But on the P4, there's a side area where you can install your memory card. Now, real quick on the memory card, it's a trip, man, because I never really paid much attention to it until I was watching one of the guys on YouTube. And again, I have to pull his name up and shout him out because his vlog was hella long, but it was hella informative. So shouts out to my man. I think it's Case Chasey, I believe. I'll put his name in there though, in real time. It's like I'll put his name in there, like full real name, so I can get his information out to people. But he put me up on game, good game, and told me to use this kind of card. I usually would just get like a Samsung or something, but if you couldn't see because of the lighting, it's an Extreme Pro, SanDisk Extreme Pro. Transfer speeds, man, never really paid much attention to it, but that explains also why I spent a lot of time sitting around waiting for something to transfer. So I learned a lot from that one. But anyhow, you take this, plug this into the laptop, bam, it loads up. Well, the caveat to that is, give me 1 second, y'all. The problem with that was, I'm so used to the Rødecaster Pro compressing my files when I just automatically put it over, that I didn't realize I was going to need something else for compressing the file. So when I tried to load it originally in the Anchor, the file was too big. I was like, God damn it, the file's too big. So I think I'm working on this, right? So I'm like, okay, 2 days I've been working on this. I finally have my solution. Clap it up. It's a good thing. I'm winning. Woohoo! No, you're not. Because now you get over here, and yeah, I have to find a way to compress the file. So once I get over here, again, on my man's YouTube, he had a section on there where he was using Audacity. Audacity is, as he said, was a free DAW site where you could go through and do all your editing and so forth. It's probably not as complex and like probably doesn't offer as much as some of the other ones do that you have to pay for. But for this scenario, it was perfect because I was able to get over here, drag my podcast into this situation or into Audacity, load it in. When I loaded it in, it gave me the option to export it. When it gives me the option to export, there's all these different file types. MP3 was there. Bam. So now I'm cooking. So I'm thinking, this is perfect. Everything is running 100. Now, also with Audacity, I'm able to go back in here and do some editing too. which I have to get around to sometime today. But due to the major setback, all I got was able to get to the point where I could load it. So Audacity lets me load it up, lets me export it out as an MP3 file. I was able to do a test, run it out as an MP3 file, and get it over to my Anchor podcast server and drop it in. It's a crazy ass workaround, right? But it works. So if you run into the same problem where you're trying to load your podcast into your laptop or wherever to get it uploaded into whatever site, Anchor, Buzzsprout, BuzzFeed, whatever you're doing. I always want to call it Buzzsprout for some reason. Maybe it's tied into a vegetable. Shit, I don't know. I'm kind of off sometimes. But I think it's it's Buzz. Just look up Buzz. You know what I'm talking about. For podcasting, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you run into this problem where your file comes over from Rødecaster Pro and it does not break down and give you all of the options for multi-track, it does not come over in an MP3 format, and if you happen to have the P4 or any other Zoom where you're able to set it up this way, again, I was taking the phone jack, plugging into the phone jack here, plugging into the headphone jack here on the Rødecaster Pro, feeding the full podcast in, removing the disc, loading it into the laptop using Audacity or whatever other DAWs program that you have to compress the file into an MP3, and then you're able to drag and load it into your box, right? It's a beautiful situation. A couple of things I've noticed with the P4, and once I use it more, I'll probably go back and do another review just on the P4 by itself, which might be today. I know we got some episodes we're going to work on today. But one thing I do dig is I had it going on batteries originally when I started. But then it's unplugged right now. But then there's also on this side here, let me take this out so I can move it around a little bit. But also on this side here is the port where you can plug it in using the C cord here. And it worked out well because I have a bunch of Samsung products that already have that C adapter. So that was able to work out. So I was able to save my batteries by chunking that mug into the power supply. Didn't interrupt anything. Everything still kept flowing. It's hella lightweight. I think it's a little bit more simpler to use, if simpler is a such thing. But I also invested in, from another guy's page, I also invested in a charging system. So I was going to do a full unboxing until this came up and I had to kind of figure out an emergency workaround. But these I heard are really, really good. Just backup batteries. It only takes 2, so it's good I have 4 charged. So if I'm ever out doing the long days with the processor or long days with the podcasting and so forth, I already have that set up. And I can just kind of run everything together on that. So that should work out also. But y'all stay tuned, man. It's getting interesting, man. So when I give you these little rundowns and reviews, I'm not a technical cat. I'm not a techie. So you're not going to get like extreme tech. You're going to get more of a view of somebody who's just a real person like yourself. That's kind of like, hey, plug this into this, plug this into that. For some people, that kind of communication works. I know it works well for me. You know what I'm saying? So if dude said just plug that to your headphone jack, plug that into your phone jack, boom. Some of these cats are like, go grab such and size cord. Some cats are real techie with it. I totally get it and I totally understand it, but that's just really not my thing sometimes. But anyhow, thanks for rocking with your boy on this one, man. I'll be back with another fantabulous adventure shortly. Give me some time. And I think today we'll probably do a little recording on the podcast and a little live recording. Alright, y'all. In a minute, man. Dago Diddy Vision. We out of here.